We'll start with the prayers. Om Bhadram Karne Vishruniyama Deva Bhadram Pashe Makshaphiryajatra Stirairangaihi Sushtuvagam Sashtranovihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuho Swasti na Indro Viddaswaraha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastakshorarishthanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati Dadato Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Anubhuti Prakasha, chapter 6, dealing with Mundaka Upanishad. That is our text for study. We have finished 55 verses. Today we are going to do the 56th verse revision. We are in a very interesting portion of this Mundaka Upanishad. In fact, the central portion of the entire Upanishad. Not only central portion of this Upanishad, it is a central portion of all the 12 Upanishads which we are studying. What is the central portion? Today, I think that I am this body and mind. I was born on so-and-so date, and I will be here for so many years. This is our general view about ourselves. This view is not correct according to Veda. Veda says, I am not born. Veda says, I don't have death. This is what the Veda teaches us, but our orientation in the mind is, I am born and I die. How do I correct this vision? That is the central focus of all the Upanishads. All the Upanishads declare that I am unborn as pure consciousness. I am born as the body. In my mind, I have the orientation that I am the body. I need to change that orientation from I am the body to I am consciousness, Atma. This is the central theme of Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and Brahma Sutra. When you say, I want to do spiritual study, this is what you are entering. Let this be extremely clear. Because if you don't have this clarity, you will not know what you are studying. This is extremely important, the central topic of all spiritual study, whatever text you may be studying. Anubhuti Prakasha, you may be doing Dakshinamurti Stotram, Saddarshanam, you can do all the texts which are prescribed in our website. 20, 30 texts are there. But what is the central essence of all that teaching? The essence is to tell me that I am different than the body. If I'm not the body, what is the name given to me? The name given to me is Brahman. This is the name given by the Veda. Tattvamasi, the Guru says, you are that. How should I understand as a student? As a student, I should say, Aham Brahma Asmi. When this is taught and understood clearly, then we can say, I have become a jnani. I have become a wise person. I have been educated by the Upanishads, and I know what the Upanishads are trying to teach me. I can claim myself to be the pure, deathless, birthless, changeless consciousness. The entire the first chapter of this Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, dealt with Paravidya, Aparavidya. Paravidya is the Vidya called Brahma Vidya. It is the Vidya, the knowledge of the eternal cosmic being, which is not somewhere outside, it is not in the heaven, it is not in Vaikuntha, it is not in Shivaloka, it is I who have to claim Aham Brahma Asmi. The whole Upanishadic teaching is in the way of learning to change my understanding about myself. It is a very subtle, fine process, intellectual process. You have to pay very important attention when the teaching is given. When the Upanishad says Paravidya is dealing with Atma Vidya, Atma Vidya deals with my own real nature, I should learn that there is some secret in this Upanishad, which if I learn, I will be free from the notion of this body-mind complex as me. The question asked by the Sishya, the student in this Upanishad is, what is that by knowing which I can know the entire universe? Shaunaka asked this question to Angiras, the teacher. Very important question. You and I have to ask the same question to our teacher. Teach me one thing in this universe if I come to know clearly. What is that? I will know my real nature. I will know the nature of this entire world. Angiras, the Guru, explained in the first chapter, what is this nature of this cosmic being? One thing he said, which we must always keep in mind is, it is Aksharam. One definition you should remember of this cosmic being. Aksharam means it is imperishable. Even if an atom bomb is exploded in the planet, nothing happens to this Atma. If the body dies, the mind also dies during pralayam, nothing happens to Atma. Atma is eternally there as Chaitanyam, as pure existence, as pure bliss. That is the nature of Atma. I say Aham Brahmasmi means I am that pure self. I have to negate the body, negate the mind, and claim myself to be this consciousness. It is not difficult. It is only a mental orientation. Change the orientation, you change your life. Master Mundaka Upanishad, you master life. Very, very interesting Upanishad. Very, very important. The methodology which is followed in this Upanishad is amazing. If you have gone through these 56 verses carefully, as per what I have said, the notes are brilliant. If you go through these notes and if you go through the talks, you will understand very clearly that my nature is pure Atma. I again emphasize pure means without the body. Three bodies I have to intellectually negate. Gross body, subtle body, and causal body. It is easy, relatively easy in our spiritual journey to negate the physical body. Very easy, because the body is not, body is not me. It is Annamaya Kosha. It is born of food. It exists in food. It goes back to food. Annamayam, that is body. The mind, slightly difficult to negate because it is sukshma. For those who have studied the Upanishad, you will understand the mind is also made up of Panchabhutas. It is a combination of these subtle elements. Tattva. And the most difficult thing is Karana Sharira. After studying 30 years also, 40 years also, people don't know what is this Karana Sharira. They think something about it, Maya, Vidya and all that, but the beauty of Swami Vidyaranya is in the 56th mantra, he tells us exactly what is this Karana Sharira. Let us go back to the 56th verse where we stopped, then you will get to know what this. I'm supposed to start this revision of 56, but let me just go through the verse. The verse says, this verse is talking about ignorance. Ignorance or avidya or maya. All these three are meaning the same thing. That which gives essence to ignorance or maya is only the cognition of the identity that I am ignorant. Very important verse in the entire 100 verses. 56th verse is the central verse for understanding Atma. You go through this verse, you will understand the importance of it. So I will be going slow. I want to explain this verse in very big detail so that all people who listen to this talk, their ignorance is gone. That is the center, that is the objective of study of this particular verse. What do I mean by ignorance? Many people realize, and all of us have got three states of the mind. The mind is in the waking state with the physical body. Mind is in the dream state, predominantly experiencing the subtle body. The mind is in the sleep state, experiencing the causal body. The causal body is called as ignorance. I don't know. That is what is called as ignorance. Now, that is exactly what I want to change. I want to change I don't know to I know. I don't know is ajnani. I know is jnani. We want to drop the ajnani portion and replace it with jnani portion. What is the jnanam I get so that I can do this process? This mental knot of identifying with the sleep state as I don't know anything is called as avidya. Now I'm trying to untie the knot with the help of Veda. You must remember what is it which I'm using, what is the means of untying. The means of untying is the Mundaka Upanishad, which says, I am of the nature of consciousness. That is my real nature. Ignorance is not my real nature. It is something which is superimposed. I will remove the knot, untie the knot. In my mind, I am not the sleeper ego. I am not the I which is attached to the sleeping body, which is the ignorant state, the causal body. All of us have this body. I have this stula body is seen. I have a mind, it is inferred because of thoughts. I have a causal body is known from the Veda. Veda tells me, drop this identification that I am a sleeper. I am ignorant. Whenever you ask anybody today, do you know yourself, who you are? 99.99% will say, I am the body. Do you know what is Brahman? No, I don't know. Because the mind has not got that knowledge from the Veda. This single verse will untie that knot and tell me, I am not that avidya, also called as Maya, also called as Karana Shariram, also I am not identified that as me. Then I'm identified with the physical body, I am the Veka. When I'm identified with the dream body, a dream mind, I am the dreamer. Then I am identified with this causal body, I am the sleeper. All these three designations which I give to myself as the waker, dreamer, sleeper is a misconception according to the Veda. There exists something which is not changing. Pay attention to this. There exists something which is not changing in the three states. That changeless entity, reality is called as Brahman. I mentally drop the notion I am not a waker. I am not a dreamer. I am not the sleeper. The waker includes all the identifications which are connected to the body, which is I am a brother, I'm a father, I'm a sister, I'm a boss, so and so. I am having joy, I am having sorrow, I have got anxiety, I've got depression, I've got so many, I've got confusions, I've got doubts. All that is to do with the subtle body called the mind. I don't know anything. He is the causal body. That also I am not. Vidyaranya says the causal body is I don't know, which is called as avidya. Drop the identification, which is oneness with that ignorant self. Tadatmayam. That is one step number one of removing the knot. I am not the sleeper, waker, dreamer, individual. The second knot I have to untie is, who am I then? I have removed myself from this three, which is all called as, put together, it is called as Mithya Prapancha. If I have removed myself from this, what is the name given to me? That name is Brahman. That Brahman is the real nature. It can exist by itself. In your mind, whatever your mind is able to think of that Brahman without the three bodies, let it be. That is what is Brahman. Whatever it is, it could be blankness, it could be I don't understand, it could be it is some, you are saying reality, but it is something. That's something which cannot be described by the words, which cannot be thought by the mind, which cannot be spoken about. That is Brahman. That is Neti method. It is not this, it is not this, it is not this. That is what Mandukya Upanishad also says. You are not the waker, you are not the dreamer, you are not the sleeper. But you are something other than that, which is the name given there in that Upanishad is Turiyam. In this Upanishad, the name given to that is Aksharam. Aksharam means imperishable, immortal, ajaha, unborn. It doesn't have disease. Consciousness doesn't have disease. Body has a disease. Body is born and dies. But that pure reality, Aham Brahma Asmi, is the ultimate truth. I have to declare it in my own mind. Each one of you has to say Aham Brahma Asmi and repeat this as many times as your mind is able to do it. That is the spiritual realization. And this has been explained in the Mundaka Upanishad in the first section, the 10th mantra, the last mantra of the first section of the second chapter of Mundaka Upanishad. Purusha evedam vishwam karma tapo brahma paramartham. Etadyo veda nihitam guhayam so vidya grantham vikirtaha somya. The one who knows this Brahman unties the knot of avidya, ignorance. He no longer thinks that he is that sleeper who in Vedantic language, a sleeper is one who is sleeping to his real nature. Through the Veda, with the help of the Veda, the mind together with this particular mantra, when it applies this to that sleeper, the ignorance which is there in the sleeperhood is gone for the seeker. I am the seeker of knowledge from the Veda. Veda tells me this. This is a Mahavakyam. This particular mantra, Purusha evedam vishwam karma tapo brahma Amrutam. It is very pure, immortal. Amritam. It is Amritam. This is what is called as timeless Brahman, spaceless Brahman. No Punya Papa can affect it. Nirvana Shatkam is all talking of this mantra. Eight verses. Dakshinamurti, 10 verses is talking about the same cosmic being, as said here. Mandukya Upanishad, the 7th mantra, talks of Turiyam, the same which is talked here. Kena Upanishad also talks of the same. The 5th mantra of Kena Upanishad, 4th mantra of Kena Upanishad, chapter 1. So all this are talking about the same reality. Avidya is the granthi, is the knot which I have to remove. That is the knot of ignorance. Now we will go to this revision of this verse. So this is the verse which we are studying in this particular 56th verse. That is, this is the Mahavakyam of Mundaka Upanishad. Remember this, mark it as an important mantra. At any time you want to revise, come back to the 56th mantra, which refers to this first section, the last mantra. If you have not understood Mundaka Upanishad, come back to this mantra. There are 6 mantras in this whole Upanishad. If you go back again and again, study them, you will understand the essence of this whole Upanishad. It brings out the 3 components of Vedanta. What are the 3 legs on which Vedanta rests? Number 1, Brahma Satyam. Brahman can exist independently. Number 2, Jagan Mithya. This world experience of the sleeping world, dream world, and the waking world. All the 3 is Mithya, seemingly existing. Because all of them have to depend on the mind. And what is the 3rd leg? Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. That Brahman which is called, which is described as Paravidya in the Mundaka Upanishad, Turiya Atma in the Mandukya Upanishad, is none other than me, the Jiva. In my misconception, I have thought I am the Jiva, the individual, the doctor, the lawyer, the engineer, the IT specialist. All this is only for the Vyavahara. It is not my real nature. It will come and go. In the waking state, I am all this individuality. I am rich, I am poor, I am ignorant, I am knowledgeable, I am this doctor, I am not the doctor, I am a son, I am a daughter. All that is in the waking state. All has to do with your body. But these are all incidental. What is my real nature, which never comes and goes? It is this consciousness, it is existence, it is pure bliss. Why is it bliss? Because there is nothing else except that. It is ananta, it is infinite. Infinite means it is not touched by time, it is not affected by space. Anything which is beyond time and space is infinite. And that is Amritam. It is immortal. There is no other words to describe that. You see, if something is changeless, it's always there. Do you feel that you are always there? Actually, intrinsically, do you feel? All of us will say, yes, 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 I feel I'm always there. In the sleep also I'm there. In the dream also I'm there. In the waking also I'm there. You know, when I was 5 years old, also I was there. When I'm 60 years old, also I'm there. There is not the body. I is the consciousness. That is what the Upanishad is trying to educate to us. The first half of mantra, Purushaha evam eva idam sarvam. That Purusha, that cosmic being, which I am now saying is not somewhere else. It is there in the core of my intellect. It is there in me. I am that. That is what the Upanishad is trying to teach me. Idam sarvam. Idam sarvam means what? This entire anatma prapancha. Anatma means what? The entire world which is experienced in the three states. That is idam. That is what is called as this. In Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, idam shariram kaunteya kshetraknyo vibhagayoho, that the first, second mantra of 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is talking of this same Purusha, and which is called as Atma or Brahman here. Sharira means is an indication of Anatma. It is Bhada Samanadi Karanyam. Here, what we are doing is, what I am considering, see, pay attention to this point. What you consider as the universe, that is what is called as Brahman in the Upanishad. Universe is a misperception of Brahman. That entity, reality, which exists as the independent reality. You see, to be Brahman, to be that real entity, reality, you don't need the body, you don't need the mind, you don't need the causal sharira. So what I considered as the snake is actually the rope. What I consider the universe, or what I consider the body as me, I have to displace it. That is what is done by Bhada Samanadi Karanya. This is a technical word, but if just listen to it, as you study the Upanishads, you will understand this word Bhadaha. Bhadaha means only negating intellectually. Rajjuhu ayam sarpaha. Snake is not equated to the rope. What I took as the snake is negated. You see, that is where the mind is involved. When the mind, it is an error in perception. It is not the reality. It is an error in my orientation that this is a snake. I am seeing only the rope, but I am thinking it is a snake. I am experiencing only Brahman, which is the rope-like thing, which is called as Brahman. I am actually Brahman only. What I'm seeing is in my mind, which is interpreting that Brahman as the world or all the experiences which I have. Snake is mithya. How do I say snake is mithya? Because it is Bhada Samanadi Karanya. I can replace the snake with knowledge. My ignorance goes away. Similarly, my ignorance about this world goes away, about this body goes away. I replace that with what? In the case of rope snake, it is the rope. In the case of my own nature or the nature of the universe, it is Brahman. Rope is the adhishtanam for the rope snake. Brahman is the adhishtanam for the three sharirams and the three prapanchas. Sthula prapancha, sukshma prapancha, karana prapancha. See, this way, if you analyze, there is no doubt your ignorance is gone. Everybody will say, yes, everything what you say is right. And what is the second half of the mantra which says that Brahman is nothing else but this Sakshi Chaitanyam. What have I done? There are two parts to the analysis of Mahavakyam. Tvam Pada and Tat Pada. Tvam means I am analyzing myself. When I say I am not the three sharirams, I am not the gross bodies, I am not the subtle body, I am not the causal body. Then where do I arrive? What do I end? I am Sakshi Chaitanya. I am the witness consciousness of this entire three sharirams. Then this is what is called as Tvam Pada Lakshyartha. What is the Vachyartha? Three sharirams. Direct meaning is what? I am the body. What is the indicative meaning? I am the Sakshi. This is the Tvam. What is the Tat Pada? Tat Pada means it is Paramatma, which is the whole universe. The entire universe, because I cannot only stop analyzing with myself. I have to also find an answer to the question of what is this universe? This universe is, when it is analyzed, what happens? Ultimately, you say there is something which is beyond the gross universe, subtle universe, causal universe. And what is that? It is the Jagat Karanam Brahma. The cause of this entire universe is Brahman. And then how do I make the marriage happen? This Sakshi, which I have understood as the core of my personality, now I am tying up with that Jagat Karanam Brahma. It is the same. There is no difference between Sakshi Chaitanyam and Brahman. So in future, I don't use Sakshi as a name for myself. I give the same universal name, Aham Brahma Asmi. And where is all this understanding happening? In the cave of my intellect. Etat Veda Nihitam Guhayam. It is revealed where is that marriage happening of Sakshi and Brahman? It is happening in my understanding. My understanding is very clear now. All pervading Brahman is also available within my own body in the form of that Sakshi Chaitanyam, which all of us can realize. There is nothing wrong. The moment you understand that I am not the body, there has to be something else. Then you will come to subtle body, then you will come to causal body, then ultimately you'll say that is also not me. Then you will come to the Adhisthana, on which the three sharirams will rest. And that is what is called as the fourth pada or Turiya. So this way, Jivatma, Paramatma, Aikyam takes place. This is what is defined in the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Kshetrajna is my real nature. That Kshetrajna is Brahman. Uttama Purushaha, 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Turiyam of Mandukya 7th chapter. So now, having understood this, in this way, I should be boldly able to say, Aham Satyam, Jagan Mithya. Why? How come I can say this? Because the Upanishad has taught me I am the Sakshi. Sakshi is independently existing. The definition of Satyam is what? Independently existing principle. Or it can exist by itself, and it is provable. Each one of us can say, I exist in my sleep state. As what? As Atma, as Brahman. You don't require any proof of anything else. Even the Veda doesn't have to come and tell me that, because I know it. That is my fact. That is what is called as nature. It is changeless. Nothing can change. That is why it is called as nature. What about these experiences which I have? They are all there, no doubt. I will make the best use of these experiences in the waking state, dream state, sleep state, and I will do my best. But I know in my intellect, I always keep this truth at the background. Always keep this truth. Why you and I can keep it? Because we have studied the Upanishad. We can abide in this Atma Jnanam. Naiva kinchit karomiti. Chapter 5 of the Gita. I think it is the 6th mantra. After Lord Krishna says, during your waking state, Ashnan, Gachan, Pralapan, Visrajan, all these are happening at the interactional stage, which is Vyavaharika state. In all the Vyavaharika state, I remember, Naiva Kinchit Karomiti. Remember that verse of the Bhagavad Gita, very, very important verse. It comes again and again. Shankaracharya explains that verse in connection with the Upanishad. This is the 8th mantra of the 5th chapter. It's not the 6th mantra, it is there. Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, the 8th mantra. Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavid ashyan shrinvan sprishan jigran ashnan gachan swapanshasan. Then the 9th mantra says, Pralapan visrujan unmishan nimishan napi indriyani indriyartheshu vartante iti dharayan. All this is held by one Atma. And realization happens during the class. In the class, if you are attentive, these verses will take you directly to that experience of the self. And then you remember the consciousness. Consciousness has got 5 features. It is not a part, it is not a product, it is not a property of the body. It is all pervading principle. It is an enlivening principle which enlivens every mind. This consciousness principle, it is there even when the body is not there. This consciousness principle is there. Only thing you can't say, you can't experience the world. For the world, you need the Chidabhasa. You need the reflected consciousness and the mind. So misperceiving myself is the perception of the universe. Whenever I look at the universe, I am misperceiving my own nature. Waker misperceives himself. Becomes the dream Tripurti. Brahman misperceives himself, becomes the waking Tripurti. For example, I am the waker. I go to dream, I don't remember that I am the waker. So I assume that I am the dreamer. I put on the clothes of the dreamer. Similarly, the same thing happens in the waking also. I am in ignorance of my nature as Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Therefore, what happens to me? I become the waker. I become the Tripurti. Pramata, Pramanam, Prameyam. The Tripurti keeps on experiencing the world. So dream Tripurti is a misperceived waker. What about the waker? Waker is nothing else, but it is a misperceived Brahman, the higher state. So the fourth quarter is the result of Jnanam. What is the result of Jnanam? This Jnanam, you see, 56th mantra, you should remember very carefully. I am untying the knot, avidya knot, in which I have been existing throughout my sleep state in my current birth. In the previous birth also, I have been thinking I am a sleeper. And I've been thinking I'm the waker. Now, after this knowledge of the Mundak Upanishad, my intellect has gone deep inside and has understood I am not the waker or the dreamer or the sleeper. I have untied the knot. Avidya Granthi Nasha is broken, is destroyed. Will it mean from tomorrow onwards I will not be seeing the world? No. The body is born, the body will undergo its prarabdha karma. But in my knowledge, in my intellect, I will say, Aham Brahma Asmi, that will never go. It is ingrained, it is soaked like a rasgulla in the syrup. This is the expression used by Swami Chinmayananda. Like a rasgulla is soaked in a syrup, I am soaked in the knowledge of Aham Brahma Asmi. Saha Vidya Granthi Vihirati. In this verse, I have untied the knot of avidya. Granthi means misidentification or wrong identification. What is wrong identification and what is the right identification? The right identification is I am Atma, Sakshi, Brahman. All three mean the same reality. What is the wrong identification? I am the three sharirams. I am the body, gross body, Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, Karana Shariram. Three identifications, Tadatmyam. Tadatmyam is Sanskrit word for identification. These three identifications are the Granthi, three knots: waker knot, dreamer knot, and sleeper knot. Vidyaranya takes avidya as Karana Shariram. See, that is the brilliance of this teacher. Advaita teacher, Swami Vidyaranya, in his brilliance, has equated Karana Shariram as Mula Avidya, ignorance. Causal body is nothing but my expression, I don't know anything in my sleep state. I'm making this statement in the waking state. That is what I am referring to, that body, my identification, which is in ignorance. I am feeling that. But now I have removed it. Once I remove that, what happens? I have untied the knot. And how is this misidentification is expressed? That is what Vidyaranya says as Aham iti tadatmyam. I am ignorant. Ignorance is part of Karana Shariram. It is the Avarana Shakti. Maya Shakti has got two Shaktis. One is Avarana Shakti. It covers, it veils, it hides. That hiding power of that causal body is ignorance. It is a Shakti. All of us have that Shakti. All of us have the Shakti to dream. All of us have the Shakti to speak. All of us have the Shakti to think. Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti. Avarana Shakti, Vikshepa Shakti. These are all products of nature, products of the Panchabhutas. So after this Mahavakyam, Karana Shariram is gone. That ignorance is gone. I can say I am no more ignorant. Jnani drops the notion that I am ignorant. What does he replace it with? He says, Aham Sakshi Asmi. That Sakshi consciousness is revealing the ignorance state of the mind in sleep. That Sakshi is revealing the knowledge state in the waking state. Bhagavad Gita has this beautiful verse, Yanisha sarvabhutanam tasyam jagrati sanyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyate mune. Very beautiful verse in the second chapter. While doing the Bhagavad Gita, we don't understand this verse very clearly. But once you understand the ignorance portion of the causal body, this verse is a revelation. Who is a Jnani? Jnani is not an ignorant person. Jnani is not a knowledgeable person. Ignorance and knowledge depends on the buddhi. It is the function of the mind, of the intellect. Ignorance belongs to the Karana Sharira. I am sleeping. I am ignorant. Is the same. I am knowledgeable. It is the Sukshma Sharira. Knowledge belongs to the Buddhi. Both do not belong to Atma. These, you see, this entire analysis, you must preserve it, read it, let it, digest it, abide in it, and make it your real nature. This is a very beautiful set of notes. If you have gone through the notes in the session and then you read it again, you'll find it very easy to pick up that central core of your personality, which is Sakshi. I am illuminator of the ignorance and knowledge. What a brilliant statement this is. This is the Veda trying to teach me. I am not the ignorant state of the sleep state. I am the one which is illuminating that state. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. That is the same message conveyed there. I transcend means what? I, the Sakshi, transcend ignorance and knowledge. This is called as Vidya Granthi Vikarya. Vikarya means untying. Tying up is something which I have done, which unknowingly. That is why this is called as Bhada Samanadhikaran. Bhada Samanadhikaranam is a technical word to say what I thought myself as this body is a misconception. What I thought this universe is a misconception. What is really there in this whole universe is only Brahman. Ajna aham iti tadasnyam. What is that ignorance? It is the misidentification in the form of I am ignorant. Ajnanasya atmata. Where is this ajnanam? It is in the Karana Sharira. We take that Karana Shariram as my real nature. I say I slept well. This, when I say I slept well, it is in the waking state. The ego is saying. Ego is what? Identifying with the mind. It is not the Sakshi. I didn't know anything. It is the ego which is saying, but Sakshi is equated to ego. That is the problem. That is due to the adhyasa. Adhyasa is superimposition. Ajnanam, being myself, is the problem. Ignorance, I am the sleeper, is the problem. Karana Shariram is taken as my nature. I should learn to understand it is Karana Shariram. Like in this body, in the physical, in the waking state, there is a physical body. Similarly, I have another body which is called as Karana Shariram. That Karana Shariram, when I am identified with that, I am saying I am a sleeper. I am now learning to drop that. Eshaha avidya granthi syat. This is called as avidya knot. Okay. Bodhayat vikaryate. By the self-knowledge, this avidya granthi is destroyed or dismantled. This is the phalam, fruit of self-knowledge, which is given in the second chapter, first section. First section of the second chapter of Mundaka Upanishad has got 10 verses. We have finished that with the 56th mantra. The first and second idea which is highlighted in this first section is Brahma Satyam Jagan Nitya. What is the third idea? Third idea is Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. The next section, the second section, will focus on the third portion, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. How to understand that will be explained a little bit more in detail in the second section, where upasana is given, where the upasana, Omkara upasana is given. So what is the conclusion now? We have talked so much about this 56 verse. Tell me now, give me 3 things which I should remember. Number 1, misperceived Brahman is waker, dreamer, sleeper, where Sakshi is equated to the ego I, Ahamkara I. The 3 Sharirams, that's the first point. I am not the waker, I am not the sleeper, I am not the dreamer, I am the Sakshi, witness of the 3 states. That is the first thing which will remove the avidya, mula avidya. It is the root cause of taking rebirth. Every time, according to Veda says, till you have removed this knot, this granthi, you will be reborn. Because you will again come back to enjoy the fruits of actions, of karma. Karma and karma phalam is what is being experienced in the waking world. Understand the waking world, only 2 things you will come as a bottom line. The entire waking world is nothing but karma, karma phalam. Karma, karma phalam. You do action, you get result of action. Action is done with the help of jnana indriyas, karma indriyas, and you become karta, and then you become bhokta of the result of actions. You enjoy the result of actions. So 3 sharirams are the knots on Brahman. I have learned to untie the knots. And avidya is the misidentification with the karana shariram. What is karana shariram? Ignorance. What is that body? Which state do I experience karana shariram? Sleep state. And that what I experience in the sleep state, ignorance, is called as avidya, mula avidya. And untying this mula avidya, I can claim aham brahma asmi. Okay, 56th verse is over with this. Very, very important verse. 57th is also important. We will now start the second section of the second chapter of Mundaka Upanishad. See how deep is this Mundaka Upanishad and how beautifully Vidyaranya through these verses teaches us the essence of all the Upanishads. You see, even while doing the second Upanishad, we have finished Kaivalya Upanishad. Mayeva Sakalam Jatam, Mai Sarvam Pratishtitam. That is the central verse there. Here the central verse we have seen, Mahavakya. That Purusha is nothing but this universe. That is the Mahavakya in Mundaka Upanishad, the 10th mantra of the first section. Now, this 57th verse, Brahman being self-luminous manifests as such on its own accord. Everything is superimposed on this self-evident Brahman. This is the knowledge of Brahman. See, now the student will be asking the question, oh, I have now removed this knowledge. I have removed this ignorance. I want more and more knowledge of this Brahman. Let me learn more. That is why a student goes after another Upanishad. It will go to Kathopanishad, go to Mandukya Upanishad. See, once your intellect has tasted the Brahmanness, Brahmanhood, it will never leave this spiritual path. It will ask for more and more. You'll come back again next week and say, come on, I want to learn more about this. I feel this is very blissful. So this verse says a little bit more about this nature of Brahman. This is the first verse of the second section. What is the nature of Brahman? It is bright, existing where, not very far away. It is right in my intellect, in the heart of my own core of the personality. This is the description of that Brahman. And it is Mahan. It is great. Why is it great? Because it is a substratum of the whole universe. It is a support of all. It is in this Brahman that everybody is breathing, winking, breathing, winking, thinking, running. All actions are done in this substratum, in this screen of consciousness. You should know this Brahman with form and without form. With form in the waking state, without form in the sleep state. And it is the most adorable. Why is it adored by everybody? All the sannyasis, what is their goal? They're all praying to this Brahman, to this nature of theirs. When you go and pray in the temple, to whom are you praying? To this formless cosmic being. Ultimately, when your mind closes, when your eyes are closed, you've gone to a temple to talk to that God, to talk to that higher principle. It is that ego which is talking to that Sakshi. Many a times you will find that the dialogue between Ishvara and the Jiva happens inside the mind. The Jiva is talking to Ishvara. That Jiva is the Ahankara, talking to that formless God. So that is the description given in the Mundaka Upanishad of this cosmic being in the first mantra. In the second section, the whole section itself is Mahavakya section. Generally, we say there are 4 Mahavakyams. I am Atma Brahma, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahma Asmi. These are all Mahavakyam, Prajnanam, Brahma. These are the 4 Mahavakyams which are generally studied by all the seekers. But when you go through the depth of these universes, these Upanishads, you will understand there are many, many Mahavakyas. This section, all the verses are Mahavakyas according to commentators. Every verse talking about Jivatma, Paramatma, Aikyam. Look at the first verse itself. First verse says the description of Brahman. That Brahman is me. So it is Jivatma, Paramatma, Aikyam. Avis Sannihitam Tat Padam. Now this is the verse meaning or the Padam meaning. Avihi means self-evident consciousness. Sannihitam means it is intimately available. Brahman is not something which is far. It is me, myself. I have to claim it. Aham Brahmasmi is a methodology of owning up that higher nature. It is not for telling anybody else. Not to tell anybody else I am immortal and all that. No, 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 no. When you are in the Vyavahara, be like a ignorant person. But in your own mind, you should know, I have the knowledge of Mundakopanishad. I am that immortal self. Throughout my engagements with the world, I don't forget this. I am Sakshi. I am Sakshi Chaitanyam. Sakshi Chaitanya means Aham Pada Lakshyartha. Very clear now. Mahavakyam is very easy for me. Vachyartha, Lakshyartha. Vachyartha is the Tri Shariram. Lakshyartha is the Sakshi. So easy. I am the intimately available self-evident consciousness principle. Avis Sannihitam. Very beautiful Sanskrit term. Sannihitam means it is me, myself. Avihi means it is self-evident consciousness. Chaitanya Swarupam. If you just make a little bit of effort, you will realize Aham Brahmasmi. I am a conscious being. Remember, I am a conscious being. To remember and to own it is not difficult at all. Only thing I didn't know it. Till you tell me this is what it is. Now it is easy. I can anytime say I am a conscious being. And I will not be wrong. I will be abiding in my nature. After that, what I do? I may be cooking, I may be studying, I may be running, I may be jogging, I may be working on my mobile, I may be watching the TV. It doesn't matter. But what is in the back of your mind? I am a conscious being. How did I get this knowledge? Mundaka Upanishad, 56th mantra of the Anubhuti Prakasha, or the 10th mantra of the first section, which tells me Purusha is everything. Mahat Padam. In this, Mahat Padam means Paramatma Tat Pada Lakshyartha. I told you analysis is Vachyartha, Lakshyartha, to be done at 2 levels. At Tvam Pada, Jivatma level. Tat Pada, Paramatma level. The ultimate greatest goal is what? That is infinite Brahman, and it is the Adharam. Padam means there are 2 meanings. Padam can mean the destination, goal. Or Padam can mean it is the substratum. It is the support. Vishwa Adharam. So Avis Sannihitam is the Jiva, refers to the Jiva. Avis Sannihitam Guhacharan Nama Mahat Padam. It refers to the Paramatma. The support of the whole universe is Brahman or Paramatma. This Jivatma, Avis Sannihitam, is none other than that Paramatma. This is the Aikya Samanadi Karanyam. Aikya means you are just equating one to the other. Equation is only possible at the Sakshi and Brahman level. When you do in this format, it is called as Aikya. When you say that I had a misnotion about the jivahood, that is badaha. I remove the badaha, I negate. Brahman is that on which everything is superimposed. Indicates, what does this indicate? When I say that Brahman is the Karanam, Brahman here means what? That left out thing after I negate the world, which is the pure existence portion. That pure existence portion is, when I am looking at the world from that point of view, the world is supposed to be mithya. Like what? When I look at the dream world from the waker angle, I say dream world is mithya. I don't say it didn't exist. I only say it is mithya. It came, it was seemingly there, it went away. Similarly, when I'm saying Aham Brahmasmi, what will happen? In my mind, I will take the waking world as it comes, as it goes, without paying too much attention to it. Seemingly it comes, seemingly it goes. In what? In the screen of Brahman, in the screen of consciousness. So this mantra is also has Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. Avir Bhutam means Tiro Bhavam. Avir Bhavam means always exist. Tiro Bhavam means never exists. Always exist is what? Consciousness. It is self-evident. Atma. During daytime, when you walk on the road, you experience so many things in life. We experience all with the help of sunlight, but we never pay attention to the Surya Prakasha. So similarly, like the Surya Prakasha is this light of consciousness. Because consciousness is self-evident, it is always there, it is existing by itself, we don't pay attention to that. But after this knowledge of Mahavakyam, it is easy for me to own that consciousness as I. Upanishad focuses on that Avirbhutam. Avirbhutam means ever self-evident. Always shining, independently, without any effort. You don't require the mind for the shining of the consciousness in you. Mind is known by consciousness, but consciousness by itself is known, it is existing by itself. Intimately known. Guhacharam. Guhacharam means what? Within the cave of the three bodies. In the Karana Shariram, consciousness is there. In the mind, consciousness is there. In the Sthula body, the consciousness. Learning to claim this is Brahma Vidya. I am not the small individual confined to this body, but I am this. Brahman is the big jump which happens to me because of this Vidya. And that is the Adhishtanam of the three states. This is what is conveyed in the first verse of the Dakshinamurti Stotram. You see, there are two stotrams I refer many times. Nirvana Shatkam and Dakshinamurti Stotram. Very important shlokas, 8 shlokas of Nirvana Shatkam, 10 shlokas of Dakshinamurti Stotram. You can bring the whole Vedanta into this. In the third line of this mantra, it says, Yasya Saksha Surato Prabodha Samaye Swatmaname Vayam Yat Sakshat Kurute. Yat Sakshat Kurute, when Yat Sakshat Kurute. When you wake up in the morning, prabodha samaye, when you are waking up, self is that consciousness. Swatmana me advayam. It tells me I am that non-dual consciousness. From that consciousness only I am waking up into this world. Again, when I sleep, I go back to that consciousness. If I have this simple knowledge, this is what is called as Brahman. See how beautiful Dakshinamurti is? Such a simple thing. I'm coming out from consciousness into the waking world. From the waking world, I go back to this consciousness. That is the simplest Brahma Vidya you can learn. And who is teaching me that? That Lord who teaches me is called as Dakshinamurti. Shankaracharya has written these things so beautifully. Asmin sarvam kalpitam. Everything which I am experiencing is kalpitam. Kalpitam means what? It is born out of mind. In the waking state, it is born out of the mind. Sleep state, it is born out of the mind. Mind and Ingra. The dream state is born out of the mind. So everything is what? Kalpitam. Kalpitam. Whatever is kalpitam is what? It is a superimposition. And kalpitam is always not real. Anything born out when the mind is born, whatever is the projections of the mind, Vikshepa Shakti of the mind is mithya. The substratum on which it is happening is Satya, which is Brahma. Even if few jivas are liberated, prapancha still continues and it exists for others to realize their nature. So, in me, the three Jiva Jagat Ishvara triangle comes and moves about. This triangular experience of the Jiva Jagat Ishvara is superimposed on that Paramarthika Brahman. It is discussed in Vivek Chudamani. There are 40 verses of meditation. In Vivek Chudamani, there are 40 beautiful verses of meditation. If somebody wants it, I will send those 40 verses. All these aspects are seen. I am Brahman, world is Mithya. This is now a reality for me. Normally, seekers face two things. Intellectual challenges there to understanding what is this Brahman. And then there is an emotional challenge. Oh, I feel so emotionally involved with the world. See, these two challenges, as long as it is there, keep listening, Shravanam, increase your Shravanam, increase your Karma Yoga principle, Upasana Yoga, all that you keep doing it. The moment this intellectual, you are able to understand, now for example, you have understood, I'm sure everybody has understood, now the Mahavakyam is very clear. So all the intellectual challenges are gone. Then now you learn to abide in that consciousness. There is no mysticism involved in Vedanta. Remember that. In yoga school, there is a mysticism. In other schools, there is mysticism. But in Vedanta, it's only knowledge. Pure knowledge of who I am, what is this world, Jiva Jagat Ishvara, what is the clarity I get after I learn the Upanishad, that is what is the essence of Vedanta. So if you are able to understand, that is the right thing to do. Don't look out for, I'm going to see that light in meditation, this light in meditation, this chakra, that chakra, all that, don't forget about all that. When you come to Vedanta, just listen to the mantras, get clarity, remove your ignorance, and say, Aham Brahma Asmi. Next week, we are going to do this verse, 58th verse. What does this 58th verse say? I will go into the details of this. 58, 59, 60, 61. Okay. All this are talking about even up to 63. 58 to 63 is talking about Pranava Omkara Dhyanam. That is the topic. So 58 to 63 is the topic of Pranava Omkara Dhyanam. After 63rd verse is going to be the fruit of meditation. How do I do this Omkara Dhyanam? 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63. 6 verses are there. I will not go into every slide, every word which is there. I will go into the detail. I will just tell you how to do this Omkara meditation. Because it is a meditation ultimately, I will tell you. I mean, when I go through these 6 verses, that is going to be the next topic. Remember, we are going to do meditation topic in Mundaka Upanishad, which is done with the help of bow and arrow and using the word Om. We have done this in short, but we'll be studying how Vidyaranya wants us to meditate. We'll take that up next week. It is the archery example, which is quoted in the 2nd verse, the 3rd verse of the Upanishad. 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 verses. You can see it here. Verse number 2, 3, and 4, which we'll be studying next week. Okay. We'll close for the day, and then if you have any questions, you can ask. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamathaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. I'll first go through the chat, whatever people have said. Manikandan says, when I say I am Brahman, dropping the body, mind, and world, we will stay only with the subject. How the subject without an object can give joy or bliss, as we have experienced joy only when an object is present in such connection with the. Okay, so when I say this question is answered actually in Taittiriya Upanishad. Now, according to Vedanta, Veda will ask you a question. Do you need objects always to be present? Then you need joy. Can I experience happiness without any object in front of me? See, our normal experience is when I want a car, I get a car, I get joy. This is what is called as Ananda, which is born because of conducive circumstances. There are 2 types of Ananda. According to Vedanta, objective Ananda, subjective Ananda. Objective Ananda is when I have the objects or beings in front of me, they are suitable to my mindset. I want those items, I want those beings around me, then I will say I will be happy. In one way, what you are saying is correct. But Vedanta says this is reflected Ananda. Ananda which is reflected in the objects, in the beings, as per my prarabdha karma is what I get in the world. As per my prarabdha karma, I get certain benefits in the world. I get $1 million, I am rich, I am poor, I get a good wife, I get good children. All those beings and things will give me joy. This is incidental, temporary ananda born out of the mind. When the mind is having objects which are agreeable to it. But there is another ananda. That is what is called as Atma Ananda. Upanishad is asking a question. Do you all get ananda in sleep? Do you all get sukham, happiness in sleep? Yes, yes, yes. I get happiness. Of course, we all enjoy sleep. That's why we want to go and sleep again and again. In the sleep state, the Upanishad is asking, what is that object which is present, which gives you that ananda? No objects, but still there is ananda. That is what is called as, again, it is a reflected ananda of the self in the Karana Sharira, in the causal body. What Upanishad now says is, these are all reflective ananda. These are all reflections only. It is not my Swarupa ananda. Learn to understand that I am Atma through the Mahavakyam. Learn to understand the Mahavakyam Tattvamasi. I am Atma Brahma, Prajnanam Brahma. That is the ultimate ananda. That is not a relative ananda which will come and go. It is an absolute ananda. That is why we call it as bliss. It is different than joy. Joy is incidental, born when the sense organs and the sense objects are in contact with each other. So is it clear? Manikandan, is it clear? I will, Shanmugam is unmuting everybody. So you can check whether you are able to.
Yes, Shankarji, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Because when we do meditation, when we do say I am consciousness.
Yes.
So when we drop our ego and body and the world.
Yes. Yes.
So we will be in the state, but we cannot able to experience anything. We cannot
no,
able to experience.
It is not an experiential joy.
Okay. Now
it is not an experiential. There are two types of happiness. One is experiential joy, where the mind, where the body, where the objects, Triputi is involved.
Okay.
That is what we call it as experiential joy. There is something which is non-experiential joy, that is through knowledge. Only through jnanam. Aham Brahma Asmi. That's it. Don't try to look for any happiness in your meditation state. Don't look for, where is that happiness? Where is that happiness? That is what is unhappiness. You will be causing more agitations in your mind.
Most likely the turning point of the match. He offered up an opportunity to Glenn Phillips.
Okay, so is it clear?
Yes, clear. Thank you, sir.
The catch was put down up in the Saka.
Okay, so
relatively easy one. And that the turning point of this encounter here.
Okay, so that was Manikandan's question. In such a condition without object, how joy will be experienced? Then Mariam is asking, is according to Vedanta mysticism production of mind? No. I mean, in bhakti, one can have some special relationship with God and feel special things. Okay, see, what you're asking is, Mariam, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you please ask this question again?
I mean, the mysticism, there are many, there is a poem from Rumi that says there are many ways to God. Some go from land, some go from sea, from the sea.
Yes.
I mean, it is another way, but I have seen that in Vedanta we can go we can take these four yogas that can help us at the same time to reach the goal.
Yes.
And this bhakti yoga, I mean, is it? I know that in Vedanta it is all science, but I mean sometimes in also the poems of mystics can help us.
I get from I get from
Like,
where you're coming. I understand now from where you are coming. See, bhakti yoga is a very, very important step. Bhakti is an attitude of reverence to a higher principle. It is there common in Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. In all the three, there is something called as bhakti. Now, in what way you express bhakti depends on your mind. Your mind, if it's tuned to looking at some God in some form, go ahead and use it. You see, it is good for you. Your mind is, see, not all minds are the same. There are some people who love to remain with Lord Krishna in his form, or Lord Shiva in his form, or Lord Vishnu in the form. They find a lot of joy in it. So go ahead, and if it helps you, this relationship with the God as a special relationship, please go ahead and you can continue in that. Vedanta, in the end, will say that this is a stepping stone for the ultimate joy. The ultimate joy is when you are in touch with the formless God. So take it as a second state. Don't take it as the, take this bhakti yoga as a stepping stone.
okay, thank you.
Okay, good. You continue whatever you enjoy. You should continue. Suppose you like the Rumi method of bhakti, please go ahead. It's perfect. Okay, Amyanchu is asking, will our actions in a day interfere with this knowledge? Okay, good question. No karma can affect the knowledge of Atma. Action is at the level of vyavahara. Naiva kinchit karomiti is at the level of sakshi. The knowledge of sakshi is paramarthikam. It is at a higher level, absolute level. Like you have the waking, the dream. Dream will never affect the waker. Waker's action will never affect sakshi. So always keep this principle in mind. Whenever I say I am sakshi, it does not refer to the body, it does not refer to the mind, it does not refer to the world. Keep this very, very clear. It's a very important question you have asked, and the answer to that question is, I am not a doer of action as sakshi. With reference to the body, when I'm driving a car, you cannot say that. I'm driving, I'm walking, I'm going to a railway station, I'm taking a flight, I'm traveling. This is not, it is not, whenever you are in the interactional world, in the Vyavaharika world, you are a karta, you are a bhokta. When you come to Sakshi, in the way I have described in the 56th verse, in the way Upanishads are describing as Paravidya, when you are taking yourself as a Sakshi, then be very clear. As Sakshi Chaitanyam consciousness, I am never affected by anything in creation. Never, never. That is why all your sorrows are gone. One shot. The knowledge is Aham Atma Asmi. This one knowledge wipes out the entire Sanchita karma. According to Veda, it says it will destroy all your Sanchita karma, which you have. The body is as a body, which you have done certain action. All this is wiped out. So remember this, it's only knowledge. And what is the source of this knowledge? Only the Veda. Veda is telling me that I am free. Once I have untied the knot of this ignorance called as Karana Shariram, I am free forever. Forever. Believe it or not, you are ever the Sakshi. And you are immortal as Sakshi. Okay, so I mean, actually, does it answer the question?
Chikaji, yes, but mind is vacillated by various situations from time to time. I mean, I cannot remain in that stage.
Yes.
Throughout the day, due to various activities, various actions, minds get agitated, and then I find that no, I have changed my path. I mean, I am not what I am.
Okay, good, good. This is a practical question which all of us will face. See, very good question. See, mind is mind. You see, you cannot change the mind. Body is body. The Sthula Shariram is the body. It will have breathing. It will have physiological functions. It will ask for food at the right time. These are all physiological functions of the body. Mind also is like this physical body. It will have its tantrums. It will, only as Sakshi, you will be able to go through the mind in its current conditions and be free from it. As a mind, when you go through the mind, you are a samsari. You see, understand the difference. There is a difference when you go through the mind as I am the mind. And the second is when you go through the mind as mind is an instrument in the jiva, which is taken this body and it will go through the experiences. I am not the jiva. I am the Sakshi. So the answer to a question is remind yourself, I am the Sakshi, Sakshi, Sakshi. As a Sakshi, I am not affected. Yes, when I am in the Vyavahara, I become angry also. I become angry on my wife. I become angry on my children. I become angry on my spouse. Don't worry, this will happen. This is Vyavaharika level experiences. You and I cannot change the Vyavaharika experiences. Prarabdha karma will tell me that this experience has to be done. It will go through it is the body which is undergoing the experiences, but I am not that body. Keep that knowledge. It is only the knowledge of the Upanishads which helps me to free myself from this. If you feel that, yes, how come with this knowledge I am still going through all this sorrow in life? Again, remind yourself, it is not I, it is the body which is going through it as per the prarabdha karma. Nobody can change this. You see, your body experiences your problems. My body is experiencing my problems. This is the law of the waking world. You cannot change it. The only way you can change it is remembering at the back of your mind like a tambura. It just, like a tambura which plays around with the music. Aham Brahma Asmi, Aham Brahma Asmi. Let it go on, let the life go on. At the same time, let the knowledge remain parallelly. A time will come, you will find, okay, life will go on anyway. You will tell everybody the same thing. Life will anyway will have its problems, it will have ups and downs, it will go on. But you will not be deeply affected by it.
Like knowledge is like secured in a locker and will be my savior in all time, all cases.
I think everything is okay. When with the Vedic knowledge, you accept life as it comes because you say, this is not under my control. This body I have given to Ishvara. Let Ishvara bring joy. Let Ishvara bring any sorrow. I accept it. I accept it. Every day, when you wake up, you say to yourself, I accept whatever comes to me today. Joy comes, okay. Sorrow comes, okay. Whatever it is. For you, it may be a job. It may, your boss may have affected you. For me, my wife might have scolded me, why you are such a useless fellow. So for different people, it is different. For another person, the son must be scolding the mother. Oh. So for each one, the sorrow is different, the joy is different. But for all of us, what is common? Aham Atma Asmi. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. All of us can say that. All of us, whatever conditions you are, you can say, Aham Brahma Asmi.
That is not affected.
It is not affected. And it is not affected. With what confidence will you say? The confidence comes only because of the Upanishads. See, there is no God coming in front of me, or Lord Vishnu has come yesterday night and told me this. No, it's not that. It is the confidence is born out of the Veda. Veda is not telling me something which is false. Mundaka Upanishad, Kaivalya Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad tells me that in the sleep state, I am ignorant about my nature. Again, remember this 56th mantra, go back to the notes. The moment you understand, in the sleep state, Aham Brahma Asmi is the truth. I am Brahman in the sleep state is the fact. Once this is a fact for you, then the waking dream and sleep states are no longer that tadatmyam, that oneness which I had, that loses the grip. You see, then the tension in the mind goes down. See, the moment I have got security in my own nature, I don't depend on the security from the world. This is a very important practical benefit I got out of the study. Normally, people will say, what? If I have more money, I'll be happy. If my wife behaves like a good person, I'll be happy. If my husband behaves like this, I'll be happy. You will never say this after Vedanta. You'll say, let anybody be what they are, because that is their prakriti. That is their nature. I cannot change it. I will never make an attempt to change anybody, because it is not in my hands to change them. I accept the world as it is. Okay, good. Good, Amya.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Anybody else has any other question? Yes, yeah, tell me, Chandra.
So you find that as
I'll come back to you, Sumana, just 1 minute.
No, I feel that as you read, as you come to know more about the Vedanta, you get the confidence in life and you are able to face it. Face it as it is, because you have to perform the duties.
Yes.
So you find that it is also encouraging, isn't it?
Yes, very good. I mean, this is, for others, Chandra has been studying Vedanta for almost 40 years now.
No.
Yeah, she has been studying Vedanta under so many Swamijis in Singapore, and she is very, very knowledgeable. She is, So what you're saying, Chandra, today is you get a lot of strength. I agree with what you're saying. Vedanta gives strength to us. You see, mental strength comes not by anything else but Vedanta.
Right.
The biggest strength for the mind is the source of the mind, which is Atma. You see, Atma is the source. The moment you say that the mind is coming into the waking state from that Atma, I know I am that Atma, I am not the mind. This knowledge which you have from the Veda is the strength coming to you because of the Vedic knowledge. And once you have this knowledge, mind cannot shake you. You will you will be in circumstances which are turbulent. Your mind will be turbulent, will be agitated, but you will still hold your root, which is Atma. And you will see this knowledge of Atma, changeless consciousness in which the thoughts are coming and going at a rapid pace. You will be able to realize it and you will react in an objective way. See, normal person without this knowledge will react in a subjective way. You will become the mind and try to analyze, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? You are gasping because you become the ahamkara. Whereas if you have this Atma knowledge, what happens? You are objective, no longer subjective, but you are objective to the world. You say, okay, fine, this is a problem. Okay, I will tackle it. Certain conditions come to me unasked. It just comes to me. But I have the strength to face it because I am clear in my mind. The mind's agitations come down with the knowledge of Atma, which is a changeless principle. The more you hear, the more your mind goes in the direction of Atma again and again. See, this happens automatically after you have started listening to the Vedanta. After some time, the mind automatically goes and settles down with Atma. You'll find it. Because mind has understood that my resting place is Atma. Every day in sleep, I am with Atma. Atma is my real name. Okay, good, Chandra. Thank you. Yeah, so
Hariam Shekharji. I earlier you explained about you said about two types of experience in while talking about meditation. I didn't catch that quite. So can you please repeat that?
The two types of experiences in meditation with reference to the Sakshi or with reference to Sakshi?
Sakshi. I think the first question Manikantan asked.
Yeah.
Manikantanji asked. So based on that, you were saying something I quite didn't catch that. So I thought.
Okay. You see, what I was saying is that as Sakshi, when you interact with the world, you're talking about in meditation or while interacting with the world?
It's experiencing joy when it came to that, like happiness.
Okay. See, all right. See, in the mind, you experience two types of joys. One joy is experiential joy, which is described in Taittiriya Upanishad as Priya, Moda, Pramoda. This is what is called as reflection of my own Ananda in the mind. Whenever there are joyful experiences outside, my mind, when it is in contact through the sense organs, it gets joy from the world. This is Vishaya Ananda. All of us experience this, and this Ananda, the source of this Ananda is Atma. in meditation, you always come to Atma Ananda. See, Manikandan asked me, can I experience that Atma Ananda or I cannot experience Atma Ananda in meditation? Atma Ananda is not something which can be experienced, because for experience, you require three things. You require the original consciousness, you require the reflected consciousness, and you require the sense organs. But Atma Ananda is pure joy. It is the nature of Atma itself. It is not an experience, but it is jnana. So don't, in your meditation, don't look out for that Atma Ananda as an object to be experienced. In the world, we look for, say, maybe we may look for a simple apple, orange or something to be happy. Orange juice will give me happiness. But when it comes to Atma Ananda, it is, you remember, only this, remember the knowledge that I am of the nature of bliss. This is taught to me by the Veda. It tells me that, so in meditation, how can I not experience, but be one with this Ananda? The highest form of this, the advanced scriptures, they tell us, bring a thought, aham brahma asmi. Bring out this, deliberately bring out this thought. Because you are learning the Veda, I'm teaching you this methodology. Deliberately, you see, in Keno Upanishad, Swami Vidyaranya will explain that, how to bring that Atma Ananda, and he gives us the process. The process is a deliberate process. Aham Brahma Asmi, I am that Brahman. When you say that, what happens? Vidyaranya says, when you say Aham Brahma Asmi, in your mind, you just remind yourself. What happens is, this vritti, this thought, removes the ignorance of that reality. Removing the ignorance is called as, technically, it is called as vritti vyapti. I mean, Vidyaranya always is a technical man. You know, he always uses technology, Vedic terminology to explain ultimately how it happens also. See, he gives a process, how it happens. Normally, vritti vyapti and phala vyapti, these are the two processes which happen inside the mind. Whenever, you see, whenever we are experiencing the world, the consciousness, the light of consciousness goes through the mind, through the sense organs to the objects. That mind going into the object is called as vritti vyapti. That means it pervades the object. My mind, the thought pervades the object. This is one process. Then there is a second process. In the thought, there is a consciousness. There is a reflection of consciousness. The reflection of consciousness also travels along with the thought. When it travels along with thought, what is the role of that reflected consciousness? The role of the reflected consciousness is it will reveal the object, illumine the object. One is it is pervading the object, it is removing the ignorance part. The role of the reflected consciousness is it will reveal the object to me. This is outside. But when it comes to inside, what happens? When I say Aham Brahmasmi, my thought will go to that Brahman, which is the Sakshi, which is the Jagat Karanam. I have the knowledge in my mind. There is something which is the cause of the universe. It will remove the ignorance portion. What is the role of reflected consciousness in this vritti of Aham Brahmasmi? In the vritti, when it says Aham Brahmasmi, the vritti, the phala vyapti, that is the role of the reflected consciousness, there is no role of that, because it is a reflection trying to say I am that consciousness. It is the reflected sun saying I am that sun. So there is no phala vyapti. There is only vritti vyapti. Vritti vyapti will remove the ignorance portion. The role, there is no phala vyapti. And what happens is, ultimately, that Brahman reveals itself to me. This is the final. There is nothing else beyond this. Any guru, if he has to teach you, this is the ultimate thing which he will teach you. Ultimate. There is nothing beyond this vritti vyapti and phala vyapti, and on just bringing that thought of Aham Brahmasmi will remove. And see that Aham Brahmasmi, that Aham should be very clear. Aham is not the Sharira. It is not the Sthula body. Sthula body is male or female, it doesn't matter. It is not the Sukshma Sharira. It is not a thought. It is not a mind. Aham is not the Sukshma Sharira. It is not the Karana Sharira. It is not that ignorance which is there. Because I get identified to that ignorance in the sleep state and I say that I don't know myself. That is the brilliance of Vidyaranya in this chapter in the 56th verse. He says, Karana Shariram, I am not that Karana Shariram. In one shot, he says, all the Sanchita about is gone. I am not that Karana Shariram. See, the beauty is, in the waking state only, you are saying, I am not that Karana Shariram. You're not in the sleep state. You are trying to project your sleep state now. What are you experiencing? Because you are able to do that only because you are the Sakshi. There is a commonness between the three states, and that common element between the waking, dream, and sleep is this Sakshi consciousness, I. Always remember this one thing. What is the definition of this Sakshi? The definition of this Sakshi is, I am that common substratum. In the sleep state also, I exist. This is the difference between appearance in the waking state of the physical body with the world and existence. That, you see, when you say Sat principle is Atma, Sat principle is existence. That pure existence without the Shariram is my real nature. That is it. The pure, you see, your mind has to travel. That is why now next comes the Omkara meditation. Next week we'll be doing the Pranava meditation. In the meditation of Omkara, what we will be saying? We'll be saying, I am not the Vishwa. I am not the physical body. Identify to the physical body. I am not the Taijasa. Taijasa means I am not the dreamer. So have I answered your question about your?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks.
Anybody else? Okay. If there are no questions, yeah. Go ahead, Preeti.
Yes, Shekharji,
Yeah.
just few thoughts here and there. So based on the question that Manikandanji asked.
Wow, Manikandan is a hero today. Everybody is Okay.
Yeah, what came to my mind is that experiences are mithya. Only experiencer is real.
Yes.
So that line of thought is correct, right? Because unless and until there is this division between experiences and experiencer, it's a duality.
Correct. That's right.
Right. So I mean,
Yeah.
like, yeah, we can never, feel and put in that object relationship anything, be it
Correct.
joy or existence or bliss or anything. Right?
Yes. Yeah. Dvaita. You see, you have to drop the Dvaitam and go to Advaitam.
Right. Okay.
That,
Yes.
that is another way of explaining to his question.
Okay. So I just wanted to, run
Yeah,
that.
that's good. Your line of thought is correct. Yes.
And second thing is I'm still, not able to completely understand this whole idea of like reflected consciousness.
Okay.
And is the reflected consciousness sort of like required to reach to pure consciousness, or to have that
Yeah. Good question. These are very deep questions. They are very, very pertinent questions. See, reflected consciousness, this question comes to us for all advanced seekers. And this topic of reflected consciousness is useful only for explaining the Mahavakyam. You see, ultimately, we all want to know who am I? What is this Atma which the Upanishad is trying to teach me? In Vichara Sagara, advanced text, there is a topic 440 or something, where Mahavakya is explained. If anybody wants to study Mahavakya, they should learn Vichara Sagara. Vichara Sagara, there is a beautiful in-depth study of Mahavakya. About 15 topics, 10, 15 topics are there, somewhere around 430 onwards to 450. Well, very in deep, very in depth, because it will go right from the beginning of Mahavakya analysis to the end of Mahavakya's analysis. Nischala Dasa, the author, your answer, you are asking this question, is a reflection theory, is it required or not? Nischala Dasa, I'm telling you the source where this is, your answer is available. And the answer given there is, in order to understand Mahavakyam, you need a methodology. You need a process. Because ultimately, Upanishad is the pramana, is the means of knowledge to know who am I. Upanishad is telling me I am immortal. I want to understand this immortality aspect of mine. The world tells me I am mortal. My parents tell me I am mortal. But Upanishad tells me I am immortal. Now there's a gap between what I get knowledge from the world, and there's a gap which Veda tells me I am immortal. Now, how to understand this immortal nature of mine? For this, the Veda, the acharyas, the teachers of the past, they have come out with this theory of reflection. There is a theory of reflection. There are two theories of reflections as per Nischala Dasa Vichara Sagara text. One is called as Pratibhimbavada. Another is called as semblance, reflection, Abhasavada. I'm not going to go into the detail. I'm just telling you why it is important, just to give you a broad view only. To understand I am immortal, I need a methodology In that methodology, there are 3 methods given. One method is abhasa. Abhasa means just a reflection. The second is pratibimba. Pratibimba means it is original face and reflected face. Abhasa means it's only a reflection of just a reflection. There is no, these are the 2 theories related to reflection. There is a third theory also which is useful for understanding I am the Atma. It is called as Avachedavada. Avachedavada is like the space. Space inside a pot, outside the pot is one. Consciousness in the body, consciousness outside the body is one. That is Avachedavada. When the body is not there, consciousness alone is there. This is a methodology. It is a prakriya. Reflection is a difficult thing for the human intellect. Some minds, some intellects, they find the Avachedavada easy to understand. Atma is like the space. Space is there inside the pot, outside the pot. Atma is there in the body. Atma is there everywhere, all pervading. When the body is not there, I am with Atma. In the sleep state, there is no, I am with that all pervading Atma, like the space, all pervading space. You break the pot, you are one space. The space merges with the bigger space. The problem with the reflection. Why do you say, I don't understand this reflection? Okay, I don't understand this reflection theory. Okay. I had a very similar problem for many years, exactly like you. You know, I said, what is the reflection theory? What is it all about? Till I understood that I have to understand reflection only from the point of view of beyond the sleep state. Okay? By being in the waking state, if I keep on looking, what reflection, where is that mirror? I don't see any mirror inside me, and your mind will go bonkers. Where is the reflection? Where is Atma? The starting point to understand this reflection is Atma. Don't start from the waker body. Don't start from this body and the waking state. You have understood Atma, which is beyond the 3 Sharira. I'm just explaining to you so that reflection becomes slightly easier for you to understand. I am asking Preeti as in the sleep state, beyond the sleep state, who is that Preeti? Let us call that Preeti beyond the sleep state as Atma. That is the original face of Preeti. Start from there. Don't start from the current body stage. Start from there. That is Atma. That is the real state. Preeti as Preeti is waker, dreamer, sleeper, ego, attached, identified with the body, either with the gross body, Sukshma Shariram or Karan Shariram. Now I'm saying Preeti is not Preeti. Preeti will call it as Atma. Just give her a new name to her as Atma. Now that Atma is trying to explain to Preeti. Preeti, you are my reflection. Preeti is the body in the waking state. Atma is now teaching to Preeti. Atma, you are my reflection. Why you say you are my reflection? Because without me, the reflected consciousness, Preeti, doesn't exist. Aham actually means that Atma. Atma is the ultimate. Without I, the consciousness, this Preeti as a body cannot exist. So first is, it says, I am your reflection. Try to understand. Atma is teaching Preeti, saying, come on, understand that you are my reflection. As what? As a reflected consciousness. I am not saying that you are, the body is me. Atma is only teaching Preeti, I am only a reflection of consciousness in you, in your mind. That's the first step. Preeti as the body, gross body, Preeti as the subtle mind is different. That is the individual Preeti. Atma is not telling that to Preeti. Atma is only saying, I'm only a reflection in your, and that reflection is what? It is the enlivening factor for the mind. Like the current, electricity is the current which is beyond, inside the bulb. Without the electricity, there is a light, a bulb cannot glow. Without the Atma, light of Atma, the mind cannot glow. Once the mind glows, what happens? It will illumine everything. It illumines the body, it illumines the world, it illumines whatever the sense organs, everything gets illuminated. So the first reflection happens in the mind. Atma is teaching to Preeti, I am your reflection, and then your day starts. Then your mind starts. Then only the mind says, I am Preeti. I am this body, I have got experiences, and then it goes through the whole experiences of the waking state. And then what happens? Preeti then will, then after the whole day experiences, reflected consciousness in the mind will say to Atma, now I'm coming back to you. Because I have the knowledge. There is nowhere else this reflection can go. Reflection can go only back to the original. What happens to a reflected face of the mirror? When I stand before the mirror is nothing but the mind. You see, now I'm trying to explain to you. So have you understood this? The portion of reflection. You see, that is very important, very difficult to understand. Only a subtle mind can understand. The Preeti is the mind, it is not the reflected consciousness. Atma is the reflected consciousness in the mind. It can be Sumana, it can be Preeti, it can be Mariam, it can be Ganesh, it can be Lakshmi, it can be Bala, it can be anybody, but everybody, it is the same story.
So that's also,
yes.
That's also Mithya then.
It is Mithya.
Yes, right.
See, the reflected consciousness is also Mithya. Ultimately, Satyam is only one, which is Atma, which is Brahman. That Sakshi has to be related to the Jagat Karanam. That is a big leap. Okay, I think the reflected consciousness portion is clear now. Good.
Thank you very much, Shekharji. Thank you.
Okay. Is there an individual soul? My soul. Is Atma and soul are the same? Is Atma only total? See, soul is a very wrong English word, which is used very, very loosely. They call mind also as the soul. Mind has left the body. The soul has left the body. They also call Atma as the soul. These are all misconceptions of the word soul. See, soul, it can mean either the Sukshma Shariram, the mind, along with all the Indriyas, which leaves the body. You see, what leaves the body? When the body dies, the stula body is always left behind. The Indriyas, which are there, they leave the body. The powers, the mind, along with the reflected consciousness, they leave. So people say the soul has left the body. At that time, they are referring to the Sukshma Sharira, which consists of 19 components. Pancha Jnanendriya, Pancha Karmendriya, Pancha Pranas, Manaha, Buddhi, Chittam, Ahankara. 19. 5 times 3, 15, plus 4, 19. This is the Sukshma Sharira. So your question is there an individual soul? Yes, there is an individual soul. When you say individual soul, we are referring either to the Sukshma Shariram which leaves the body, or when the Sukshma Shariram is together with the gross body. See, in loosely we say we are all different souls in different bodies. At that time, we are referring to the soul as the physical body. You are a soul, I am a soul, everybody is a soul in a physical body. It is, again, we are referring to the soul. In essence, it can only mean two things. You can either say it is the Atma, but people who have the knowledge of Atma will never use the word soul. Indirectly, people who have never heard, they may indirectly mean it, but never people who have got Brahma Vidya will use the word soul. Atma and soul are the same if you know what the actual soul is. Actual soul is this consciousness. Total consciousness is, if you have come to Brahma Vidya, for you, the soul is, ultimately is this pure Brahma. One, non-dual consciousness is the ultimate soul of the entire universe, which we call it as Brahman. Okay, I hope this is clear. Okay, I think I've answered all the questions. Thank you. Good night. Namaste.
Thank you, Secretary.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Shekhar.
Shekhar ji.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sekharji.
Thank you.